Hi everybody and welcome to this video. I'm really excited to share this one with you. I'm at a place today that I've wanted to come to for a very long time, not just because it's outside Bristol, which is a lovely part of the world, but mainly because of the amount of palm trees and other exotic plants here. And I finally get to meet Nigel from Hardy Palms, who is a true expert. His knowledge is absolutely second to none. He's respected across the palm enthusiast network of Facebook forums and old school website forums as well, and just a wealth of knowledge. Lovely bloke, and someone who's not in it to make his millions. He just wants to do something he enjoys and really gets satisfaction from sending out pristine plants. Now, the other thing before we get started is that Nigel has shared some top tips with me for what substrate to use in your pots. Obviously, everything here is in a pot. Nothing's planted in the ground, and Nigel has shared his tip for how to keep a healthy plant and a happy plant in a pot. I think this is a first as well on YouTube. I don't think anyone's been here and filmed a video before. So let's have a look around. First thing on the right here, what catches my eye is these Shamrops humilis volcano. These are really mature volcano plants. You don't see these for sale very often at all. I can't think I've ever seen any with that much trunk before. And Nigel was complaining to me about the spotting. He's had to cut some leaves off for spotting. Well, they look bloody pristine to me. Certainly a lot better than mine at home. So they're fantastic. I should say before I go on actually that Nigel sells most of his plants on the website. He is open here just outside of Bristol for visits. If you make an arrangement ahead to book and come in if you're serious about buying some plants. But yeah, most are sold online, and most of these plants here outside and in the 4 polytunnels aren't listed for sale, and that's because despite these waggies looking pristine, they need a few more leaves, but they look perfectly sellable to me. But no, Nigel's not happy. Nigel wants them to be bigger, better plants, so that when they arrive at someone's house, they're really happy with them and will therefore come back for more. Now, you might be wondering, where is Nigel? He's not keen to appear on camera, but he does make an appearance later on. Got some Fortunias at the back there. Again, looking pristine. We'll just continue to have a little walk around. Some yuccas here. And also some more over here next to the polytunnel. These are foliferas. We were talking about whether they would be hardy in my location in Blackburn in Lancashire, and it's pretty borderline, but I have had one survive outside in a pot up against the house for 5 or 6 years. So I feel like I could take the plunge to plant it out, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet, I don't think. These 4 butia. These, don't worry about them. They're mine, I've bought them. Don't worry about that, I'll show you that after. And should we have a peek in this polytunnel? Here, on the left-hand side, are hundreds more butia odoratas. And it's lovely and warm in here, as you can imagine. And look at these. Not a brown leaf to be seen. And some of these are for sale. Some of these are on the website. There's a few left at £40. And I think there's some more at £50. But best to check on the website. Because, as I say, despite everything looking immaculate to me, Nigel's only ready to list it when he wants to list it, you know, when he thinks it's ready to sell. Some real interesting plants in here.
Now, in editing, what's really striking me is just how perfect everything looks. And it hit me at the time as well, but throughout the whole visit to Hardy Palms, I don't think I saw one sick or ill plant.
So, yep, these 4 butias here, these are £40 each. That is an absolute bargain. You can't buy butias as cheaply as that anywhere in the UK, not from bargain discount stores, not from anywhere. And do you know what? You probably can't get 4 better quality butias either. So not only are they the cheapest, but actually, you know, you can be 100% sure that you're getting quality. I've been here about half an hour, or maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour, who knows. I feel like I work here. I feel like I'm selling for Nigel, but I don't need to do that. I don't have any affiliation. You know, I've met Nigel. I've known him loosely for a number of years, and respected him, as many people do. But there's, you know, I'm not promoting Nigel. Nigel's not paying me anything. There's no incentive for me to say nice things, but it's just absolutely fantastic. There's hundreds, probably thousands of seedlings here. Now these obviously aren't ready. These won't be on the website either. But in a few years, they certainly will. Got the glaucous leaves on these. Fantastic. So Nigel pots these up every year and nurtures them for years at a time, and then we'll sell them when he considers that they are perfect. Now the next polytunnel, the next one is a really interesting one. There aren't many palms in here that are for sale, and there's also quite a few palms in here that aren't going to be for sale. These are Nigel's personal collection. A lot of them are one-offs, or ones that he's just got a few of, and they're really special plants. So let's go and have a look at those. Okay, this is something else, isn't it? There's lots of butias in here. There's lots of, I think most of them are hybrids. Now, Nigel was very generous with his time. He brought me in here and explained what a lot of these were, what he thinks they might be. Sometimes he's unsure what they are, or he doesn't believe what they're supposed to be, has suspicions that they may be something else. But unfortunately, I can't remember exactly what he said now. And also, I don't know about you, but I really struggle to see the difference in a lot of these plants. But Nigel is, you know, well renowned to be a bit of an expert in the subtle nuances between palms and subspecies. Unfortunately, Nigel does have a problem with the height of his polytunnels. They're just not high enough. So several of these are a bit of an issue. And also, they're in such big pots that actually it's probably not practically possible to pot that on again. Now this plant here, this is a butia and a jubea cross. But look how thin that trunk is. There's no girth to that at all. When you think of jubea, you think how wide the trunk grows on a jubea. So that's an interesting one, and one that Nigel's definitely going to keep to the side, keep an eye on it and see how it turns out. The other thing to mention, so Nigel's just said that these butia odoratas on the right here, the whole length of this polytunnel, these are actually too big. So these I think these are the smallest ones here, but they're too big to send by, to sell online and send via a courier. So all these need to be collected from here, or they need to be shipped on a pallet. And obviously, if you're shipping 1 or 2 plants on a pallet, then that's quite expensive. But if you've got, if you're filling a pallet, then it's actually very reasonable. Or if you're collecting, then that's, doesn't cost anything really, does it? But all of these plants, you can see these ones down here are very big indeed. I'm not going to be able to get far enough back really to appreciate these. But these are all in the 120 to 200 pound range. So there are some real bargains here actually, because again, it's a lot bigger than the plants I've bought, and again, you can't buy plants of that size for anywhere near the price. You go to Seagraves or other online sellers, the Palm Tree Company, there's lots, and they'll have similar sizes to that, but they'll be hundreds of pounds. So I'm really impressed, and what I've sort of picked up here is that actually once plants get to this size where they're too big to go via courier, then actually Nigel's, where his prices are reasonable already, really, someone's going to get a bargain, or lots of people, they've got plenty here. There's lots of bargains to be had. So if you are a serious buyer, I would very much recommend getting in touch with Nigel via the website or via Facebook, I suppose, and getting down here. Absolutely fantastic plants. And these ones aren't listed on the website, but they are available for sale, so I would very much recommend a visit. Okay, so leaving the third polytunnel, having a brief moment of cool 24 degrees weather, and then heading into the fourth and final polytunnel for some more Mediterranean style warmth. And we've got yet another polytunnel full of pristine plants. And I know lots of us grow palm trees in pots. Maybe we're moving house, maybe we have a patio that we have pots on, or just opportune parts of the garden where we have paving and other things, other hard landscaping like that. And I don't know how Nigel does it, to be honest. I've not been able to gather that from him as to how he grows such healthy plants, because I can't do it. I wish I could. So we've got some more yuccas in here, some more volcanos, and I actually have a couple of these volcanos from this batch, I believe. I mean, mine aren't as nice as that because obviously I'm not growing them in optimal conditions, but I actually got 2 of these as Christmas presents, maybe 2, possibly 3 Christmases ago, and I wish they looked this good. I kept mine outside in pots over winter and just didn't. I don't think I've quite got the drainage right in the pot, maybe. Yeah, lots of yuccas on this side. And Nigel said he was weeding those earlier on, so I've seen the damage to his arm, his poor arm. Not a job he enjoys, I don't think. So yeah, this quite a modest sized plot, but absolutely thousands of palm trees, yuccas and other tropical style plants here, and an expert grower. He doesn't want me to show him, but here's Nigel. Give us a wave, Nigel. You got quite the place here, Nigel, and I'm sure the viewers will have really enjoyed having a look around. And the best way to reach you is the website
or phone's fine.
Yeah, on the website's a phone number.
Social media, Facebook messages.
Yeah, messages on Facebook. There's lots of ways to get in touch with Nigel. But yeah, as I say, for any serious buyers, make sure that you get down here, you arrange ahead to schedule a visit, and ideally bring a big car, I would say, or trailer, or an Arctic or something. So that's about it really for here, other than, of course, we've got Nigel's top tip for soil substrate to use in these pots for all palm trees. And the key takeaway really is that drainage is king. Okay, so Nigel uses perlite in absolutely everything, as you can see in these waggies here. Somewhere around 1/3 of the volume is perlite, and then the other 2/3 are quite simply made up of John Innes number 3, and that's really it. That's the secret. So I'm at home messing about with well rotted manure and sharp sand, and yes, I put perlite in, but also compost. And of course, compost nowadays is peat free. It's very difficult to get hold of anything else, and I'm kicking myself because I knew this beforehand, but growers don't use peat free compost. It just doesn't work. It just becomes a soggy mess. And of course, with drainage being king, a soggy mess is the last thing you want. So I'm definitely going to take that advice home with me, and I'm going to stop buying compost, full stop, and I'm going to start buying John Innes number 3. And I already use a lot of perlite, so I'm doing something right at least. But yeah, that's the key takeaway. Now, all that remains is for me to try and fit these in the car. The usual game of trying to get those in. And I haven't thought this through, so wish me luck. I'm sure I'll manage to do it. I think I'll have to lie them down. So there will be a bit of a clean-up operation when I get them home. And but it'll be absolutely 100% worth it, because these are fantastic palms, £40 each. I needn't say more than that, really. So that's it from Hardy Palms near Bristol, and thank you very much for watching, as I'm sure you still are.